Good evening, Doc here for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Tuesday, the 15th of December. First chart, Bitcoin versus the US dollar looks to be making a break for it. It's up about 1.4% today with about 4 hours left in the trading day. Has hammered off of the 19,000 level. You can see this in a little bit more detail if I go over to the 5-hour chart. We've had this break above, descending patterns, break to the upside. We had the break over the last few hours, hammered off of the 19,000 level. So a lot of support coming in at 19,000 and it's breaking up towards 19,600. So are we going to get a break this time, or is the price just going to sit within this series of higher lows and equal highs to build that ascending triangle? Now, one thing we can do is to look at the depth of market here and try to get just a gauge for what kind of obstacles that it is going to run into overhead. So you can see we have some sell walls here at about 19,650 and certainly up at 19,800. And then as we get closer to 20,000, this is where the sell walls really start to get quite steep. And you can see the difference between the sell walls versus the buy walls, which are much more gradual and don't contain the same area. So to me, this looks like I don't see the price breaking above 20,000 just yet. I see so much overhead supply right now. And this is good. This is what we want to happen. We don't want to necessarily see this thing break 20,000, get a lot of attention, and then create a throw over, which would be a stall for probably a month or two. Now, there is a lot of energy at the daily chart, but the weekly chart is really where the problem is. So normally after a 9-week rally like this, you'd expect to see, and you'd almost want to see, a few weeks of consolidation, a few weeks of storing up that energy, getting used to that altitude. Acclimation is really the better word here. But we have a weekly exhaustion figure. Now, let's go back in time and let's see the rally that we had back in 2017. Did we run into the same situation back then, and how did it handle it? Well, we certainly did. We had this exhaustion level around the June 2017 timeframe, which is about the same level that we're seeing right now, almost exactly a candle for candle copy of what we went through 3 years ago. But you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this was particularly interesting where the price actually broke lower first to create what we call the slingshot move to the upside. So about 5 weeks of consolidation, and you can see that that's precisely what had to happen to be able to recharge this chart in the shortest period of time, which it did. And then we were off and running on the next weekly swing. That's kind of what I'd like to see happen here, even though it's not going to necessarily feel all that good and people are going to get impatient. I think we're already getting impatient. Everybody is just assuming that, okay, here we go, 300,000 Bitcoin, let's get it on. But we're going to do so in a very measured fashion if it does it that way. It's going to be a stair-stepping move. We're going to get these, the faster that it goes, the more parabolic and more vertical that it goes, the more pain that we're going to have on the backside of this. This is the way that markets move. And obviously we could extrapolate that into the year-end move in 2017, 3 years ago, which was a lot of fun and it was very exciting, but we spent the last 3 years paying for all of that crap. Now, we did have some bear market rallies during this time. And during those bear market rallies, we did have some breakouts with weekly exhaustion where it just ignored it. It just said, forget about it. I don't care. And we had that early on in 2019, you can see, and we had a couple of conditions here in 2020 after we had the crash where we did get a couple of rallies that were on fairly low energies. But so far, what we're looking for is the 2017 analog for the price movement now. Okay, a couple of other coins doing pretty well. Remember, we've been tracking Ethereum, and Ethereum is not as exhausted. So if we do get a break above 600, we may be able to get somewhere with this one. Remember that we talked about the potential for the next swing in Ethereum is up to about 800 or so with this great big basing pattern. So this is going to be I believe, just an enormous cup with handle, which is going to go in stages. So this particular cup level is about 700 points deep, which maps out to about 1,500 for the next target to the upside. And if we look at everything that we've had, 1,500 is pretty close to the all-time highs for Ethereum. So we'll take this one step at a time, but if we get up to 800, then we'll probably have several weeks of consolidation. Next stop, 1,500 on Ethereum. We have some other coins making some moves today, like Bitcoin Cash is doing okay. Remember, we talked about yesterday, find the coins that have the energy right now, and they're more than likely going to be the ones that break. Bitcoin Cash has no problems with energy at the weekly chart, and daily chart's pretty wound up right now. Descending patterns break to the upside. We're seeing a little bit of a break up to 300 today on Bitcoin Cash. Just about everything else is very modest move so far today. Nothing really outstanding that we need to bring to our attention. A couple of these are starting to move pretty well. But overall, I'd say everything looks really good right now. The coins that should be moving are moving. The coins that probably don't deserve to be moving are not really moving either. So the altcoins, not really moving all that much. We're having some of these like Ocean BTC. This one was a big rock star, back earlier in the year, but has been really languishing at this point. So we're going to see some oversold bounces from some of these, but by no means is this an entry point. Wait till some of these dogs get lifted off the ground into weekly uptrends. That's always my advice on this. That's it for today's report. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.